only did it once.
I can't anymore.
And that was enough.
Why is that taking so
was
long?
wrong. Do it again.
What did I forget? I don't know.
YouTube feed is up.
Let me give you trouble. Whoa, trouble. Hey, Chris.
There you go. Lord help.
Help us all.
Oh, easy.
Say what?
Easy.
Easy.
Get out of my tool shed.
Oh, I think was there tools in there I want?
Is it trying for a massive transmittal item?
Yeah.
As long as it's not a fungus.
Well, we'll see what it turns into.
On your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, well, I had all the levels, and that's good. The audio level seems good. Jingle singers are a bit down, and I'm not sure I think there's a lot of latency going on with the video stream, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's the usual thing. We are real-time, though, if you're at channel 11, 27085. Why is it so dark? Oh, so I'm missing a light. All right, let's do that. You should never. I'm missing another light. You should never need lights on radio. That just makes things complicated. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. Your radios glowing in the dark. Those tube radios from 1958 through about 1978, when there was no tubes, but there was 40 channels. Our tube radio operators and collectors will help us tonight in creating the sound that was CB back in the day, and that is Citizen Band on your Old Tube Radio Network. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers sitting in the air chair here tonight to hopefully conduct business with the tube operators and our shortwave listeners that'll be coming up right now. Let's see, if I said this should be the last 8-week period. I thought it was last week, but it is this week. So for the last time, perhaps, as 00 anyway, checking in Neil from Kakalaki. Looks like the audio stream is up, the video stream is up, the Echo link is running at, where are we at on the Echo link? I have the 94810. 94810 is where that might be located. And I see some of you out there, so we will get to you as we monitor along here. And also, I will try my best to check the various chat windows and things like that to help with the comments. SWL number 1 with the Cosmic check-in as always, and also as well, let's get in SWL number 2. OBP is out there saying that we have some interesting sunspot numbers, some solar activity, but as anybody who's out there heard, we had our typical skip when the gray line passed through, those nice 20 and 40 over signals from far off, and then away they went in about 5 minutes. And here we are with some nice local contacts, I think. Not sure about the sporadic E-skip, but we will find out tonight. There's Neil. I want to say he's the former 00. Actually, you know, I know I said last week, there's one more week. Somehow I miscalculated, so one more week for 00. So don't abandon your extra air chair just yet. Good conditions all week up in the Sand Hills. Been down below Channel 1. with AM stations from all over, calls in there, although Hawaii on occasion. Now, we get Hawaii a lot here, but where you guys are at, it's a little bit harder to get. So thanks, Neil. We've got you checked in here at 00, and we've got number 1, we've got number 2, I've got a proxy for number 3. Number 5 is in. He might still be there. I mean, he was in earlier. Levon was, Rainmaker was in earlier. I'm not sure if he had to run away, but we've got you checked in. No, he's right there. He's right there at the air chair. Let's try SWL7.
SWL7 checking in.
Checking in, looking good, sounding good on the old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for joining us, Ed. Gonna add a little more volume to my headsets. The band, at least my section here is really quiet. So it's so quiet. I am now wondering if my antenna is up in the air. It's interesting to be so quiet, but we'll see. We'll see when we get some of those far out stations. Looking for Chrissy, SWL10. Not sure if they're fired up yet, so we'll keep an ear out for them. But the stations are fired up. SWL11, hello, Cornbread, and also SWL12. Dapper Dan, who was at the radio, at the air chair today, working those stations from way far away and way over there and way over there. So looking good, beaconing around the earth on the two-way radio. Good to go. Dapper Dan, and keep it up. I don't know. We've got a lot of good skip coming up, and you should be able to make some great contacts on the radio there. So good stuff. We've got you checked in 11 and 12. Let's try SWL 13. Michael often checks in over at oldtuberadio.net. I will keep an eye out on the comments tonight. Joining us over at oldtuberadio.net, up in the balcony, Boston, Mass, up there. I guess you guys are heading down. Come on down. Kerman, California. The unknown SWL is around at the mezzanine. The boys from Squamish, as always, with some very good things. So check them out. Shinston, West Virginia. Dallas, Georgia, coming up to you. Inez, Kentucky. Fairfax, Virginia. Hello, Radio. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Woodward Park, Colorado, with the multi-focusing elemental devices beaconing towards the west. Let's see if we have any items of interest. Van Man is in there, right up here in the front row. In Derby, New York, and a host of others. Let's go to SWL 14. I thought I heard Sean in there earlier testing, but I could be wrong. Over to SWL 16. Charlie is in. They're all wondering, it says, we get everything set up for you, and then and you're still late. How is that? Well, because, my dressing room with the star on it is way, way over there. In fact, I think it's on the next block. I haven't quite earned the big trailer, but the guys, the drivers in the big red limo rushed me to the scene, and here I am. Thanks for checking in, Charlie. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18, getting a check-in for Mr. KDA Mikey on from the Facebook pages. SWL 19 right here in front with the cue cards, and I see tonight Chet has the spray bottle that we were using on the cat. No, we don't do that. So if you see occasional water coming through here, he's trying to wake me up. Anyway, looking good. Thanks, Chet. Let's go to SWL 20. Hello, Harvey. Now, I think there is, I should check, I think there's a lot of delay tonight. So if Harvey is listening on the Universal Media NetWeb, Where are we at? 20. Okay, he should come in right about now. Hello, Harvey.
Huh? I fell asleep in front of the radio.
All right, well, we are going to give you some items of interest, some entertainments, some modes of operation to help keep you awake. We're getting you checked in. Over.
Okay, and just in case, watch this. That's my in-transmission ping.
Wait a minute. End transmission ping. Over.
No, during transmission ping. During the transmission ping. I flip a switch and it pings. Anyway, not supposed to really do that, so I won't do it again. Alrighty, I'm gonna get something to eat, and I'll be back. Oh, by the way, check me in, 29 and 54 if you would. Ping is good.
I will do that. All right, I apologize to our listeners on the digital side. I noticed that the receive was very low, so you were thinking, why is everybody so weak? It's just because I had them turned down. All right, Harvey, we got you checked in. You are sounding good. The X in the proverbial square, such that it is. Thanks for joining us.
Dennis.
Okay, and I will pause at this portion of page 1. And I will ask if there are any stations that would like to get checked in early so that they may go back to sorting out their Super Bowl goodies. You know, rearranging all those little triangular shaped sandwiches in the dish. Go ahead.
24 checking it.
Okay, we got one. Joseph, we're coming up to you, but good to go. Thanks for checking in. Who else would like to get checked in early?
Pinedale.
This is Robert. Check in, please.
All right, we've got Pinedale Control. Thanks for stopping by and have a great rest of your evening. Also, I believe that was Mr. Tony, who is at the air chair tonight in the control booth. Hello, Tony. I'll get you checked in from Course Gold. Over.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I had a long day. Had a rough day in the car coming home.
Okay, yeah, well, thanks for staying up a little bit and jumping into the control point and saying hello and continue on. Thanks for joining us. Who was the other station? Over. All right. The Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio is glowing in the dark. Did I mention that we are live streaming at oldtuberadio.net on your Universal Media NetWeb device, where there is a link for a video that at some point will be showing you the likenesses of the radios, the tube radios that will be checking in. In the meantime, right here, 27085 Channel 11 is a great place to be. Let's check in with SWL 21, DD21. Mr. JT, who is, I think, old. Let's go over to old Radio Night, and I'm not sure. Let me see. I see a video up. I have to. What do I have to do to make that work? Because I'm showing a blank screen here. But the video for old Radio Night, which was up and running on the Cobra. He was on the Cobra. I wouldn't say the 2000, but that was there. It was the Grant XL. So let me see if I can get a better shot of that. And there it is. We'll grab some audio from old Radio Night with Mr. JT at the microphonium. And it was the Uniden Grand XL on top
Take it easy now.
of the Cobra 2000 GTL, your old Radio Night. Dirty Diaper 21. You know, somehow on that Uniden Grant they managed to put as many knobs as they have on a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. In about a tenth of the space.
So I'm just kind of taking it easy there. Didn't feel like doing it tonight, but I wanted to do it anyway.
And
so,
that is the definition of a true
Let that bloody bleed over.
a true radio operator. When it's doesn't feel like it's possible to do it, you get out, the curtain comes up, and you put on the performance for all to enjoy. Thank you, JT. Do appreciate Old Radio Night and all that you do out there, and we've got you checked in over. And the breaking station, go ahead, over.
Dennis, could I check in early, 195?
Yeah, let's do that. So you can, you kind of sound like me last week, where it's time for the chicken soup and the NyQuil. So the X is in the square, over.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not feeling too good, but we'll get over it.
Okay, we will see you right here, same time, same channel next week, and you are checked in. Thanks for joining us.
Break.
And the break, go ahead, over.
Yeah, good evening there, Dennis. Via the Leche and 553, I'd like to check in early because I got some company here at the house there, 10-4.
Did you tell them that the Super Bowl's not until tomorrow? And those little triangular sandwiches aren't going to be out on the table, but I know you're a good host, Bob, and things are ready to go. We got you checked in. Thanks for joining us. Over.
Hey, thank you so much, sir. And I want to say hi to Jay Bird. He's on the blue tube, and you guys have a good weekend and enjoy the Super Bowl. And I'm back quiet. Break.
All right, and Jay Bird just heard that and jumped up and said, hoorah! Thanks for the shout-out. All right, Bob, thanks.
10-4.
And sounding good. Bob is not that close. But you can hear he puts in a great signal with the station. Old Tube Radio Network, directed net roll call. We are looking for SWL22. I'm looking over at the Echo link where we have a couple of stations that will be checking in. Sometimes Tyler is one of those. I don't see him tonight. That doesn't mean he's not around. Let's go to SWL23. 23 Skidoo. Who is possibly out polishing the various satellite dishes that we need to make those clandestine comments or contacts and the comments that go with them. SWL 24 checked in moments ago. Let's try SWL 25. And I don't recall, I might have seen a post that 25 is out with the band tonight, which is a good thing, and I hope he's having a great time. Let's go to shortwave listener 27. And up the road a piece to Sacramento town. Is it okay to call it Sacto? If you live there, you might say, no, don't call it that. But anyway, we've got SWL 28, Gary, hello, radio. Saying he's checking in. He's up to his elbows in marinade with the ribs and chicken for the Super Bowl party in the green room tomorrow. Yeah, we're having a special. I think they're using the big screen that often shows your tube radios to put up the game. Who's ever playing, it'll be up there. So join us, won't you? Thanks, Gary, for checking in. We've got a check in for SWL 29. Still wondering if the Idaho contingent has made it in. I think they're still heading this way. Let's go to SWL 31. SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33. I can put the checked in sign on that group of people, including myself and those around here in these parts of the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's try SWL 34, Jimmy Field, who does quite a few of the CB radio-related Facebook pages, including the Old Tube CB Radio Network. Thanks for those of you who are joining us from those pages, and we appreciate your posts and information throughout the week about what's going on and what's happening. Let's take a look at Mr. Bill, SWL 35. We should be over here on the .net site, and he's checking in from Wyoming, as always. Mr. Bill, when are you headed? When are you going to be headed out to these parts again? Probably when the weather gets better, maybe. I don't know. Look forward to hearing you over our big speaker here, whether it's local or coming through on Skipland. Let's try SWL 36. Around these parts, SWL 37.
Definitely around these parts, SWL 37. Good evening, Dennis.
And good evening, Chris. Thanks for joining us here on the old tired tube radio network. You're sounding good coming through my speaker.
Well, you're sounding pretty damn good over this way yourself there, guy.
All right. Well, that's because you've got a good receiver. I see Jimmy is there. We probably have a little bit of lag between here and is it north, south, east, or west of Chicago? They're in Batavia. 34 is in. Let's see if the less than stellar, and it says that, train whistle. Train whistle. You wouldn't know by the way I do it. Here we go. There you go. 34 is checked in. Thanks, Jimmy. We've got, let's try Sam, SWL 38. SWL 39, Dr. Dan from somewhere. SWL 40. All right, trying to find all my knobs and buttons and things here to get them where they need to be and keep stuff on the air here. Let's try. Oh, I know. Before we continue, I want to go to the video board and see what is going on here. Who's saying hello? A lot of people. There's Sam. Sam, yeah. You never know. We're waiting for that sporadic key. So 38 is in UDX 483. Mudbucket is watching somewhere. Now, I guess there's ways to watch. You can watch on the little device, which is cool. You can watch on the big device, which isn't so scary when the radios are on. When it's over to me, that could be a bit scary. Judge Joe C. Videogates said he bought one of those whistles in Alaska. Well, there are good ones and there are not so good ones. This is one of the not so good ones, but it's very possible that I may be in Alaska this year. I don't know why. So I will look for one of those train whistles. DS315, hello from Texas. We've got the thumbs up. Larry in the land of Oz, out there near Iowa City at the radio desk, doing those radio things that only one can do, whether it's on the dual band fusion system or the HF radio or the Spark straight key. What is straight key night? January 1st? I knew there was an AM rally. Yeah, but good stuff. Thanks for joining us. Mark, hello radio. Who else is here? We got a big crowd in tonight. I guess people are checking their screens for the show tomorrow. GSW, thanks for joining us, and a host of others here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Indiana Chris is waving a hand from North Indiana. 311, looking good here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Albert and the gang, of course, always there up in the whether it's the mezzanine or the balcony. Don't say that too fast. They will help you out. They got a little map. They're like the tour guys when you go to Beverly Hills and they have a map of the stars. Albert and his crew has like a map of the Old Tube Radio Network where the jingle singers are and where the elevator is. So ask them for the map and tell them I sent you, and they won't charge you. Jake from State Farm, always good to see you around, and I know you enjoy the radios. Jukebox 502 is on Echolink. Are you on? Okay, yeah, we'll get to Echolink in a bit. I think that's Randy. That should be Randy out there. So, all right, good deal. Northern Redneck. talking about the Yaesu FTDX 5000. Well, perhaps I got it on sale. It might be a FTDX 4995. You know, I'm kind of cheap around here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Gravedigger Unit 101. Also on the line tonight, Private Thor. Thanks for joining us. Long time listener. And not even a first-time caller, so we are good to go. I see JT. Is it raining? It says it's raining out there. I think a couple people said out that way of the U.S. where they're getting all the I don't know, the bad weather that we had like a week ago is finally showing up there. All right, I'll stop talking and we'll continue roll call here in the Old Tube Radio Network. And we did get Larry, we tried to get Larry checked in, and we didn't do that because I think he's on the short coax tonight, and it doesn't run down into the basement. But we will get 41, if I go to the right page here, SWL 41 out there in New York, checking in. Hudson Valley. Looking good tonight, 507. Thanks for joining us there. SWL 42.
Yeah, let's proxy in 42 in the gang.
42 in the gang will do. Thank you. SWL 43 got a proxy check in for Crazy Eddie. I got to remember to put X's in the squares when they are appropriate, because if I don't, then the tally at the end of the net here is not correct. SWL 44. Heading up the hill. Paul and Kelly in North Fork, SWL 45. Yeah, I can hear you. You're beaconing in. I think I've got an antenna problem. I don't know. My noise level should be higher than this. But I'm hearing everybody. Got you checked in, and thanks for joining us. And very good. Let's go to SWL 46. And Josie Video Gates. Let me do a quick explanation. The Old Tube Radio Network was started on the air, Channel 11, over 37 years ago. A group of people with the old style tube radios getting together and moving to Channel 11 because a lot of the radios had that crystal in it, just to talk about radios or exchange, hey, you know, if you wiggle this tube, things will work, that kind of stuff, and recreate the sound and the demeanor of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, which back then was sort of being lost. And so the Old Tube Radio Network, as you see it in this form with the video, is doing the same thing that we've done. We've just added a little bit of video and some audio streaming, and of course, we enjoy our listeners, shortwave listeners from wherever they are, whether it's out of state or in state. You don't need a number. There's no special handshakes. There's no funny hats to wear. Not even a badge, even though I've got a pocket protector to join in. We're glad that anybody can come by, and you don't even need a tube radio to come in. So that's what happens here. And a lot of people enjoy the older radios. When we have the best. We have the best collectors, and right here in the Central Valley of California, that take time out of their Saturday evenings to jump on the radio and put the radios on the air just so we can hear them. And it's also a good thing. It's like the old car shows, you know, with the fins and chrome. Get them out of the garage once a week, drive them around, and they will work better if you do that. So that's what we have been doing here for a long, long, long time. I am one of the many net controllers that has graced the air chair in our long existence here on Channel 11. So that's what's going on. Let's go to SWL 47. SWL 48. Shortwave listener 49. And I'm going to put a proxy check in for Smitty and Sweet Country Mama. Let's go to Up the Hill, SWL 50. And over to Sangertown, Dave, SWL 51.
SWL 51, checking in.
Okay, got you checked in. Looking good on the Rady Type O. Thanks for joining us. let's give. Here's our chance to check out the Echo Link link via zeros and ones, and we'll get the director of digitalness, Mr. Aaron, K6USY, KB6GFD, over. And Aaron should be joining us via the Echo link here.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and everyone else on the net. From behind the golden microphone, this is SWL 52 announcing that there's a new SWL in the house. As of Wednesday, I now have 3 girls.
Oh my gosh, you got me so riled up there, I forgot which button I need to press to talk to you. All right, well, you have been busy preparing for that, and now that it's all here, now that the show is, the curtain is opened, you will be yet again busy. So thanks for running into the radio room, such that it is. With 3, the radio room is probably now delegated to what, a little curtain around a card table, right?
Yes, the radio room has been moved to the corner of the master bedroom, such as it is, and we'll see how it goes from there. I figure in a couple years I'll start up a contesting station and get the girls to call CQ, and I'm sure we'll be popular on the bands. So, good evening, everybody.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Thanks for joining us. Aaron has been a shortwave listener quite a few times along our long route here. He's also an amateur radio operator, and as you can tell from the last transmission, a father of 3. Thanks, Aaron. 73, KB6GFD. All right, good to hear 52 on the radio. Let's head over to, let's see, SWL 53. Mr. Belair checked in earlier, sounding good. On page 3, if you're playing the home game, SWL 54. Mr. Board Jammer checking in virtually, shall we say. Let's try SWL 55. Around these parts, in the gardens and the Christmas lights and whatever happens out that part, SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
All right, sounding good, sir. I've got the X in the square, and as always, thanks for joining us for, I don't know, if you check in 52 times, or I don't know, you check in 48 times, depending how many programs we do, and you do it for 30 plus years. That's a lot. That is a lot of check-ins. So I don't know if you make a mark on the edge of the desk every time you check in. So don't do that. The desk is going to fall over with all those marks in it. Thanks. Over to shortwave listener 57. And I am looking on my list that has scrolled by to see if Mr. Brown Dog Audio is there, because it was on pause. And I take it off of pause, and it just scrolls through. You know who is there is Dwayne and Chrissy, SWL 30 and 10, which you all checked in. Looking good, thank you. 362. In fact, let me make the official over my left shoulder one that shows the SWLs if they've checked in or checking in. I think somebody said that actually logs in to some Google thing. So I guess for IRS tax purposes, if you get a discount, if you get some type of tax deduction for checking in, we'd be able to send you a receipt, such that it were. If we could do that, let's try SWL 58. SWL 59. Uncle Hairball is there for sure tonight. He was in early. And I can't remember if he asked for an early check-in, but he was there saying hello radio. So 59, that's right. 59 needed an early check-in, which we will do that. But he's there right now. UDX 786. Refresh my memory for those of you, and I don't know if that particular group does a lot on the West Coast, but it seems, I guess, intuitive, uniform Delta X-ray, but is there some other modicum that goes with UDX? And I wonder if there's a UDX control. And I wonder if somebody has been smart enough to look on those of you who are amateur radio operators to see if there are any vanity calls with the suffix uniform Delta X-ray, so you can keep things going. SWL 60 should be checking in right now. Van Key, hello, Joe.
Hello to Dennis and doggone it. Hello to everyone out there. SWL 60, Dennis checking in on this 2901 base, the DX 2527.
Sounding good. Joe is a long-time station checking in who uses a radio of someone who checked in back in the 20th century and is now listening in from afar and really liking when he hears the DX 2527 radio. Jake Break. All right, thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Dennis.
So those of you who are new, the Old Tube Radio Network has quite a long history of not only, people checking in a long time, generational check-ins. Mothers, sons, grandsons going on. Pretty cool. So CB Radio is alive and well here in the Central Valley, thanks to our great stations around here. Let's go to SWL 61.
61, checking in, Dennis.
All right, thanks for standing by. Thanks for checking in. Dino, Copenhagen, we got you.
Thank you, sir.
SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63 out of North Georgia, Butterbean. And let's see. Is this a... No, this is not. I thought this might have been an Echolink check-in, but I do believe it is not. And Craig wanted an early check-in is what my note is telling me from out there in Nineland. So if you're watching the replay, we've got you checked in. 64. Let's go to SWL 65. And Mark, United Delta X-ray based out of Salt Lake City, where it's not right in Salt Lake City, but they have a really great SDR receiver out there in northern Utah. It's just got a really great antenna and does a good job. I wanted to give a shout out to Captain Robert. And Bozo Control says, a honk of the proboscis is apropos. Says he's still hanging around. Wow. We're not going to get rid of you, Ryan. We can't get rid of you, and we don't want to. We want you to hang around as long as possible. You've been hanging out for a long time here in the LT Radio Network. Thanks for joining us, Captain Robert, out there in Nevada. Let's go to SWL 66. And did I mention that the tube radios will be coming up? Our operators are warming up the tubes and are ready. So stay tuned for that. Or if you just can't wait, I suppose, if you're watching the video and it's 2025, you can do the, I don't know, the fast forward. Is that what they call it? You can do the skip ahead thing. But why? Why would you do that? Let's go to SWL 67. Got a proxy check in for Bill up in Oregon, who I think his internet is doing wacky things. SWL 68, Michael asked for an early check-in, New York 157. Out there in Tulan, we've got you checked in. My mouse is not working. That's what you hear it clanking on the desk. Dwayne wondering whether the receiver is located in northern Utah. That is a good question. It is the KFS SDR, Northern Utah, and I'm not sure exactly if it says where it's at, and it has various receivers that go between various frequencies. But if you type in SDR Utah, SDRUTAH.org, you'll come up with the main page, and it'll tell you what to click on and what to do and what kind of radio or device you need and blah, 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 blah. But it's pretty cool. Unfortunately, it will not hear, well, I don't know. I don't know if it goes to 27, where Skip isn't in. But if Skip was in, it would be possible. It would go to 27085. You could jump in there and listen in if we're making it to Utah some evening. That would be interesting. We are looking for Kenny, SWL69, who was in there earlier. Kenny, if you're still watching, hello radio, we've got you checked in. And UDX around since the 1980s. I remember in the 1970s, I had a Western America sideband number when sideband was on channel 16 and the RC channel below that. Like, was it 27,155 and 27,165? I'm guessing. But I remember that. And then when people would get their uncrystal controlled thingies and jump down a little bit lower. And I mean, this is before people thought, yeah, I guess we could go above 23. But channel 16 was it. That's where a lot of the sideband hung on. I think there is a Facebook page that kind of deals with that channel 16 sideband thing, trying to get people back on the air. Let's go to SWL 70. Oh, my noise level just came way up. I wonder if that's the bad noise. I don't know. Let's go to shortwave listener 71. I need to refresh my page to see what Stan is up to this week. And there it is. Checking in, worked some of the WPX RTTY contest, but still doing the VE testing. Did 5 sessions with 3 different VCs today. Now, that is busy. I guess, are you guys probably more busy due to, I guess, people coming out of hibernation from the COVID restrictions and whatever, although I think you may still be virtual. I think you said that last time, but good. We got to get people licensed and on the air, because you will be disappointed with 11 meters in 2 years when it's 40 over and you can't talk. But jump up to 10 meter AM or 10 meter sideband or 15 meters with your piece of wire and your new ticket, and you will have fun. But don't forget, come back to your channel 11 or wherever you go to talk to the stations locally as well. All right, let's go to SWL 72. Thank you, Stan. Dallas, Georgia. SWL 73. I'm getting 73. He checked in via 2 meters early. I didn't have a chance to talk to him. He's in his mobile and he wasn't in a good location. SWL 74, got a proxy check-in from Miss Jilly. SWL 75. Shortwave listener 77.
Well, 1017, Dennis the Menace, SWL 77, checking in, and thank you, Optimum Dennis, for everything you do, and all the good numbers to all the listeners out there.
All right. The ever popular Dennis on the radio, sounding good. All right. We appreciate you stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Let's go to SWL 78. Yeah, my noise level did come up, and it isn't the bad one. It's too early for that. Let's go to SWL 79. Oh, and Mr. DC did check in early, so I get the X in the square. SWL 80. And they said, check my comments. Okay, I'm checking my content. Oh, and there it is. SWL 13. In early tonight. They're being nice to you out there. Mr. Cobra, SWL 13, getting you checked in here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Van Man saying hello, radio got you checked in as well out there in Kentucky. Thanks for joining us. And you know who should be joining us right now? It is that time. It is that time to see what Bob and Steve have been up to all week, making the Old Tube Radio Network better for you.
27.0850 TR Channel 11.
Whoopee. All right, you guys brought me some water here, which is a necessary thing. My voice is kind of on the mend, so that is good. Let me go to the REA modulation meter showing my positive and negative peaks, although we try not to be too negative. I try not to be too negative around here, so as you see, if all goes well, there should be more positive modulation than negative modulation. All right, what is going on the Bob and Steve show tonight for episode 154 on February 11th, 2023? Don't forget, Tuesday is Valentine's Day. I haven't forgotten. There's been a plethora of little heart-shaped candies around here. Happy Valentine's to all the Jingle Singers want to go to the Super Bowl. They always want to go to the Super Bowl. So we have the jet fueled up and ready to go in the morning. I guess it's a little cheaper if they can all go at once. And so we will say bon voyage to the Jingle Singers in the early a.m. They'll be back tomorrow night, and we will have our flight path already logged in from here to Phoenix. At least it's a short hop this time. What's that, like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half? No, that's not too long. Should be a good game. We have tickets on the 33-yard line. That is probably the best place you can be, about 6 rows up. Well, what is that? 3 times 3, 3 plus 3. All right. The Costco card works. It works up to the limit. So I will have to check, because I've noticed that surreptitiously the limit has been being increased. It's sort of like the debt ceiling. It just seems to be increased so that we can purchase more things. Look for, when they show the 33-yard line, look for the Jingle Singers. They will have the OTR shirts on. The Jingle Singers have been at it again at garage sales. They found a Tram TR70C. We have one of those around here that checks in. That's the mobile version of the TR70 series. And a Safari 1. Wow. 5-watt night kit. Yeah, the Safari. Pretty cool radio. And they have them set up in the Green Room Lounge. So take a look at some radio history right here. As Motormouth Mall would say, right here, right now. They do need capacitors, so when you turn them on, or if they're on, you will hear a buzz or a hum, and you can hum along with the Tram and the Safari. At the bar tonight, we from Pinedale, California. Where is Pinedale? He checked in early. Pinedale Control, the Bear Den Restaurant and Bar. The good old Bear Den Restaurant and Bar, the best prime rib in the world, so says them. They are all set up in the lounge. Join us after the net, and might be able to get you some free coupons because they're just up the road, because drinks are on Bob and Steve. Thanks, gang, and as you know, don't forget, that's the password to get in everywhere around here. I'll just say it out loud. We don't care. Don't forget to feed the fish.
27.0850 TR Channel 11.
Check-ins continue in a moment. All right, back in the control room. They're giving me, when they spin their finger, their index finger up in the air, that is an old radio cue and an old TV cue to pick it up, because they want to hear those tube radios that are warmed up. So I will continue on, but I am enjoying saying hello and visiting with the shortwave listeners here tonight, as we always do. Page 4 is where we are at. I've got a proxy check-in for SWL 81. And I am saying hello radio and seeing if SWL 82 is out and about.
82, checking in. Good evening. And yeah, I was able to work some 10-meter AM today. So that was pretty cool. First contact I've logged on the 10-meter AM side, so it's out there. All right, thanks, Dennis, and have a good net.
It is out there, and so when the band is good, it's really good. You'll get 10 over, S9, big signals. And what's funny is, you'll be on 11 meters, and it's unusable, right? It's 20 over of nothing, and you go up to 10 AM, and it's, hey, there's a station. And it's the station you would be able to talk to on Channel 11 where they're not 5,500 other stations transmitting at the same time. So it is pretty cool. So, and there's a gang of regulars that comes here in the West Coast that you'll hear out there. So you'll get on the big board. All right, sounding good, Ron. And a reminder that 82 Ron also runs and is net controller most times, like I am, most times when we get in the air chair of the Ditch Banks sideband net on your sideband radio Friday evenings at 8 p.m. here on the Pacific Coast, the West Coast. So join us locally, join us from DX land, give it a shot. 27,365 lower sideband for the Ditch Bank dudes. All right, thank you, Ron.
All right, Dennis, thanks. And also, the guys who want to try out FM, and they have those export radios, 26805 seems to be a FM calling frequency. And you could hear FM on both sides of that frequency.
Okay, good stuff. I've seen that posted, and now, in theory, the FM mode is an approved thing. We won't talk about where you might be doing it, but I believe the FM mode is an approved thing here in the U.S. Who knew? All right, thanks. We are the Old Tube Radio Network looking for, thank you, Ron, SWL 83, shortwave listener 84, and I've got a note. They say to check in 84, 86, and 87. That is the Cheerios Kid and the Mountain Maid and Tandy Girl and the Snowy Owl. And the radio you see behind me that I'm going to turn on right now is from the collection of, grab the right knob. Did it come on? Yes, it did. I'm looking at the replay. No wonder. I'll see how far it is behind. That radio is from the collection of SWL 84. So good deal. Let's try shortwave listener 89. SWL 90, we got a proxy check-in for 90. SWL 91. And I'm looking at my list. What have we got tonight? Well, we got the Valentine's Day. Felix finds these icons, memes, whatever it is. Okay, he's got the Valentine's, he's got the football ready, of course, the Bozo control check-in. Thank you. Thank you, Felix. We've got the X in the square. You know what I'm going to do? Because they said to pick it up here. So let me take one of the many, I want to pick up one of the many Echolink calls tonight. And we'll go to Dan, who I don't know if he's still out in the desert. Dan is one of the, amongst other things, but one of the 7199 ESSB audio crew, working and experimenting with high fidelity audio on amateur radio, which is pretty cool. I dabble in that a little bit, so I want to see if Dan is out tonight and give us a report on Echolink, KA6RCGZ, KB6GFD, over. And Dan has been traversing out in Quartz Fest, and there he is.
From Quartzsite, Arizona. We're just out here in the suburbs at the Dome Rock camping area until the morning. Tomorrow's moving day, and we're moving this party up to Lake Havasu for the fireworks. Over.
All right, they do everything there, and in 25 words or less, the Quartz is at Quartzsite. Say the name again, and I believe it is an annual item. And is it a wintertime thing only, or does it last a couple weeks, or is it? Tell us a little bit about it. Over.
Well, if you're speaking of Lake Havasu, it's the Western States Pyrotechnic Association's annual trade show, and they put on a camp out and a big demonstration of their fireworks expertise, which I think it includes a number of things in certifying new operators, demonstrations for their new products, and then just blowing off a whole bunch of stuff.
All right, what do they say? Blowed up real good. All right, well, you're sounding good. I'm enjoying the reports about what's going on, the great sunsets and sunrises. Here on the Central California, we had a great 2 days of nice weather, and there is a cold front that just moved in, and it is going to get cold. So I think unfortunately, we are sending that your way. You probably already know about it. So be prepared to bring out the mittens. Thanks for joining us, as always, and look forward to more reports. KB73, KB6 GFD.
I'm looking for a radio check, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for having me. KA6RCZ clear.
And the station, you are 9 pounds, good modulation in Chestnut and Herndon, over for the radio check.
Well, how do I sound? I'm testing out a new antenna that I can sell.
I have you sounding pretty good. I think your antenna is working. What part of the town are you in, over?
I'm over here by the airport in Fresno.
Okay, I'm not that close to the airport. You're putting in a good signal, so I would say you can put a check mark that you have successfully installed the antenna correctly. Over.
Thank you for the feedback, and I was listening to you last week, and I'm Robert Butcher with the 980 Bearcat.
Ah, yes, very good. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We do this every week. We are streaming live at oldtuberadio.net, and I appreciate your call. Thanks.
All right, thank you. 73.
73, the Old Tube Radio Network, direct and net roll call. Radio's coming up, he said. Felix is in. SWL 92. SWL 93. Then we go to Warthog 95, SWL 95. Checking in from Orlando, Florida, where the weather is always nice. So says the Chamber of Commerce there. Thanks, 95. We got you checked in. Over to SWL 96.
Hey, Dennis. This is SWL 96 checking in.
All right, I am not disappointed. We have the triple play Dennis's checking in with your check-in there, and you sound just as good on AM tonight as you did on sideband last night on the Ditch Banks net. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis. You sounding good, too.
All right, thanks. And Dennis is out in Kerman, not that close. He's got a good system beaconing into central Fresno here. SWL 97 beaconing into central Fresno from all the way from Boston over on the video side. Boston 97 checking in on the Tram TR70, the mini green. Yeah, that was their mobile version, and it is smaller than the 27E, but it is certainly a lot bigger than what was JT on tonight, the Uniden XL something. Yeah, well, maybe not as much fun to run though. Let's go. Thanks, Jim. Let's go over to SWL 98. And Tracy's right there checking in. Thanks, Tracy. I heard you, was it a couple weeks ago? I think it was on the Wednesday night net. I haven't been able to make the Wednesday net for a couple of weeks, but a couple of weeks ago I heard you really strong, so maybe you heard me as well. Getting you checked in. Let's go to SWL 99. Get to Radio Randy checked in. And then we'll do yet another Echo link. because it is up and running and sounding again. We'll find out what is happening. What is going on? Is it raining? I think it was rain, inclement weather out there in South Carolina. KD4BAO, KB6GFD, over.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100, and it's a very soggy night tonight down here on the coast. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
Okay, and perhaps that's to be expected in an early February on in that part of the U.S. Not sure what the typical weather should be, if there is such a thing anymore as typical weather. Thanks for joining us, Tony, and you are sounding good. KB6GFD. Over to SWL 102 in Arkansas. Let me see if John is around. He's right there. Checking in, saying hello to all the tube radio operators and shortwave listeners. Crazy weather in Arkansas, yes. It's out that we sent you the crazy weather. Daffodils are blooming already. And Hope Charlie Alpha Tango is doing well. I checked Insane Little Kitty here earlier, and she is just learning about treats. So I put some treats in the dish, and they were sitting there, and I went by, and they were gone. So somebody somehow figured out what those treats were supposed to be. All right, well, hope the crazy weather doesn't get too crazy. And I noticed here in the Central Valley, some of the fruit trees, the stone fruit trees, are already blooming, which is about right. But, man, you've got to be careful. You don't want to have any big rains before those blossoms fall off normally. You don't want to knock them off before they're ready. Let's go to SWL 103. Yes, SWL 103. Shortwave listener 109.
Good evening, Dennis. 109, checking in.
All right. At least tonight, the AM voice of Auberry, if you tune in Friday evenings, the sideband voice of the mountains up there. Sounding good tonight, Mr. Crawdad, and we've got you checked in, over.
Thank you, Dennis. You're sounding great tonight.
Directed in the roll call. Tube radio is coming up shortly. SWL 110. Shortwave listener 111. I was just waiting to see if Robert was there. He checked in earlier. I don't think he could hear me. We could hear him from Reedley with no problem. SWL 113. Shortwave listener 114.
114, checking in.
All right, 114 on the... you run a 2000, right?
That's correct, Dennis.
All right, on the Cobra 2000, sounding good. I saw one on JT's desk below the unit in it. He had a real nice cover for the 2000, but we're hearing one right now tonight. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you for the check-in.
And Foxman 362 out there in Rockwood, Tennessee, where it's 44 degrees with rain. 96% humidity would tell the story. And he's standing by for the tube radios. Let me try, and we'll see. I know there's a lot of delay. Let me try another Echo Link. See if we can get Randy online here and find out what is happening out there. KC9NSD, KB6GFD, take a transmission, over.
Hello, everybody out there in OTR. It is about 30 degrees outside. It's clear here in southern Illinois, about 50 miles south of St. Louis. And just hope everybody has a blessed day. Back to you, Dennis. KC9NSD.
All right, right, sounding good. Thanks, Randy, for joining us. You have really good, whatever system you have set up on that Echolink has some very nice audio. So thanks for joining us, and we checked you in. Thanks. All right, Old Tube Radio Network. Going to check SWL 128. That is John over in Fairfax, Virginia, listening in, checking in a few minutes ago. Probably, I bet there's some wet weather out that way as well. Let's head up to SWL 131. Click on the right video here. And then SWL 133. All right, I don't have to wonder if I'm hearing you tonight. Good signal into the station this evening. Hope it's not too cold in the Radio Shack, and you are sounding good.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dave out there in Northwest Fresno. Thanks for joining us. Always a treat when Dave picks up the microphone. Let's go to SWL 135.
Guy, hello there. SWL 135 checking in.
Sounding good, sir, and no doubt a little what we say in the TV biz, teaser of what is yet to come on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks. We are, let's see, getting a check-in for 137AJ. We've got a check-in from Tony earlier. If you were listening in up in Albury, doing a little, I guess, it's a much-deserved rest after a long day. The guy that is 00 and will be up the running, I think up the running again for 00 next week when we see who is the new item of interest. Neil, we've got him checked in from earlier, and let's go to Mr. Snow Beast, SWL 188.
Good evening time, Dennis. Good evening time to all the SWLs. 188 checking in.
All right, with a big 10 over signal here. Sounding good, sir, and we've got you checked in. Thanks for joining us. 195 from Courseful Gold. Jim checked in early. And let's see if Jeff is around. SWL 226. And anyone that I might have missed before we head to the Tube Radio's OTR listening. All right, so I will quickly run around and do the things I need to do to get the Tube Radios ready to go here. And see you in a minute or two on the Old Tube Radio Network. It's about, roll up your sleeves. It's about to get warmer as we check on the Tube Radios. Back in a moment.
KO5C and Anchorage, Alaska, keeping the skies clear from foreign objects. Have a good one, Dennis. KO5C.
Hey, Charlie, up there in the frozen northwest.
Clear from foreign objects. Have a good one, Dennis. KO5C.
Just setting up for the tube radios here. I got to click a bunch of buttons to get it ready. Here, I got to... Well, if I haven't messed up, it is that time.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, thank you, Mr. Freebird, and X4000, the Jingle Singers, Mr. Announcer, and especially thanks to our tube radio operators who are now stepping up to their respective air chairs, firing up the tube. The tubes have already been fired up. They're getting ready to, as we say, take a transmission on the tube radios, and I am here to facilitate that, the OTR listening.
135, 135.
20.
All right, got two on the list. Harvey, go over to the green room. There's plenty of things to do, but keep an ear out on the big monitor speaker for your turn coming up in moments. At this time, let's go over to Mr. Green Arrow, who is in front of his selection of glow-in-the-darkness today. I'm not sure what it is, but it sounds good. Over.
Okay, assuming everything is working properly, hold on, let me check my frequency. 0852. Yeah, so I'm just as close to right on frequency as this thing ever gets. Little higher this evening. From the Dynascan, let me pull out the flashlight here if I can read this. The Dynascan Corporation in Chicago, Illinois. Sorry, this is a big, long title. This is the B&K Mark Cobra Cam 88. It may win the grand prize for the longest titled radio I have.
And you presented it quite well. I bet we have, and it's on one of those other, it's not on the database Rolodex, it's on one of the Facebook pages, but I think we have a picture of this somewhere. I could be wrong about that, but the Cobra Cam 88, courtesy of B&K. All right, well, that explains it, because when I was hearing this pre-net, I was thinking, it has that full fidelity audio, like a tram, like a general radio telephone, and I didn't think, I should have known by now, I didn't think of the Cobra, because there are a couple of them out there. I know Dennis's has that same quality to it. So doing well. There are a couple of versions. We'll talk about the one that you have, and if you've got the selectable, the booster switch, the mod light, and et cetera, take a transmission over.
Okay, the rundown is this thing has 10 tubes and all 23 channels. That's what it says in the book. It says all 23 CB channels, because that's all there was at the time. The microphone here is a gray bass amplified D104. The Dynaboost switch is on. It's in the Dynaboost position. And the mod light is flashing with my mod. Back to you.
As well it should be. Really nice audio. That is a good setup for your voice. characteristics. I've spoken with you on FM before, and it definitely has good FM quality. Oh, you know what? I need to spend a little bit of your nickel here. Let me go back to the control room. So they just pointed out that I did not do. Okay, we'll keep the radio up in the corner. That I did not do our pocket protector pen before we signed on to the tube radio, so I'll do that quickly. It's Budco Metronics, Budco Metronics Incorporated, wholesale electronic parts, and the little pen holders in front of this name, and components. All right, wholesale electronic parts and components, conveniently located in Indianapolis, Indiana. Somebody's from Indiana out there. Is Budco Metronics still there? On 601 West 11th Street, with a phone number that I was going to read, but I won't, because maybe they're still on. But here it is, the Budco Electronics on the less than stellar camera. I will place said pen in pocket protector, and now I can officially check you in on the cam. Back to you, over.
Okay, yeah, I just thought, since Dennis is back out here, I hope he checks his in, and yeah, we can get these Cobra cams out front at least for a little while. Yeah, these are a lot of fun. It's pretty simple and basic, but it's still got most of the stuff that you need on there. You got your squelch, and there's a fine-tune control for zeroing in on people. There's a PA if you really want to, go ahead and scream at people over an external speaker. And I'd say it's got all the channels. No VFOs, no waiting. What more do you want in a radio?
There you go. It is channel 11. It came with all 23. Of course, we're on channel 11 because some of the radios only have one channel. Channel 11 is a good thing. You are having our shortwave listeners stand up and cheer tonight of GSW. Oh, yeah. Cobra Cam 88 gets 200% grade A. Tell him, Dwayne, tell him not to change a thing. That thing is working perfectly. It is. Those still looking at the or band meter. See, there's plenty of audio bringing us up there. Sounding good on the band. Thank you, Mark. Barry White quality. Tony says that. Ooh, baby. The crowd loves it. Over.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I never know if I've got this thing turned up too loud or not loud enough. But I did a little radio check with Tower Dennis earlier, and I think he said leave it there too. So I think I've got it set up okay. I say the Dynaboost is on. Let's see. Let's go ahead and turn it off just because we can. So Dynaboost is off. Wow. 1, 2, 3. I can tell from my lights and meters there's not much there. And oh, good. It came back on. It's a good clean switch, so it should be working okay. Did that bring me back?
Yeah, in our 30-plus years experience on the Cobra Cam 88 or any old radio that has a switch, it's sort of like, switch at your own risk, crackle, pop, am I there? No, like you said, it went crunch, and your audio is severely decreased. I had the Orban meter up when you did that, and it just started going down, down, down. We can still hear you, but the loudness indicator, which is what that is, said, he ain't loud no more. So yeah, it sounds good with it on, over.
Yeah, I imagine if I did it that way, I'd probably just have to crank up the D104. I think I've only got it about a little more than a quarter of the way up. Oh, hey. I don't know if those are coming over the mic, but right overhead are a flock of Canadian geese.
Just barely. I'm wearing headphoniums, so I could hear them come to. Occasionally they'll do that. They come out of the ponding basins and away they go. So I did hear it. It's on the replay, but you have to listen very intently to do that. So yeah, this is probably the best way to do it, where you have the microphonium gain down, so it doesn't pick up a lot of background noise. Although we did hear the geese going over, but not really loud, and then increase the gain from the radio. And I know in the past, too, sometimes it will tailor the fidelity a bit, may give you a little bit more bass response. So I guess the best thing to do is find the microphone that you like best without it, find the microphone best with it, and maybe they would be the same one. Radio number 1 online with us now from B&K Cobra, the Cam 88, 10 tubes, no waiting. I'm seeing if I got anything on the Rolodex. No, you have more information than I do. I don't even have the tube count or the anything on this one, but it sounds good. Take another transmission, and a good way to start off, and we'll see if we can't get a few more coming up in later versions here.
Okie doke. Yeah, it's 10 tubes, and I think the finals, I'll bet Harvey has it memorized. I think it's a 6BQ5. So, good stuff in there, and plenty of it. Okay, thanks for letting me check it in. We'll let Harvey go, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, as always, thanks for your time and effort to join us on the Old Tube Radio Network. In fact, there wouldn't be an Old Tube Radio Network if it wasn't for our tube operators that take time out of what they should be doing on a Saturday evening to stop by and jump on the radio. They are telling me that the jingle singers are ready to do what they do best, and I will invite Harvey, if I don't pull my headphones off my head, I will invite Harvey to step up in the air chair, and we'll be with you in about 20 seconds. Sir, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, for music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The Old Tube Radio Network. Some info about, and Harvey might be able to help us with that, who's stepping up into the air chair. Some questions about how many wires in the microphone. I think it was a 4-wire, but do they only use 3? Hello, Harvey, over.
Here I am. I'm on a Golden Eagle Mark II AM transmitter, AM sideband receiver. No train, no extra stuff. Unamped D104 mic. And since Cliff wants to talk about tubes, receiver's got 12 tubes, transmitter's got 5 tubes.
All right, 12 and 5 should be 17. And I think, I can't remember if the version, if the Mark, like your version prior to that has the same amount of tubes. I would think so. And I know the 3 has more tubes. It's sounding good. I'm trying to get a shot of one here because our database does not have a very good shot of a Mark II. So I'll put something up and it will hopefully be correct. But in the meantime, take a transmission and do any test that you need.
Do you have the headphones on or off?
The headphoniums are on. I haven't figured out, I know they have, earbuds and all sorts of real expensive things like that I could probably do that might look a little bit better and be more comfortable. But I'm not sure. So headphoniums are on. Over.
Can you take them off?
Yes, I can. In fact, let me go back to the control room. But I can't hear you because I have the speaker muted. How can I hear you? Okay, I'll just turn up the speaker. It gets a little feedback, but here we go. All right, hold on. Headphoniums are off, and then I'm turning up the receive speaker, and I'm unkeying. Go ahead.
That's the long ping. I wanted 2 pings. This is JT's radio from South Carolina. It doesn't ping. I think it pangs. I'm not sure because it's, from the south, so it might do that. I'm not sure, though. Anyway, that's the long ping.
All right, and you were getting approval and thumbs up on the pang, so that was the pang, and it sounded pretty good. It for those of us that might have been wearing headphoniums, I'm sure it perked up or maybe woke up the items. Over.
Roger, Screeching Eagle, or something like that. You had a question?
Oh, what was the? Oh, it was to our prior radio, which was the Cobra Cam 88, which does have the 4-pin microphone, but there was I guess a question whether only 3 of those pins might be used.
Yes, 3 pins are used. Pin number 1 is the mic line. Pin number 2 is the ground. 3 is the transmit.
And there you go. I guess you got to have at least 1 pin going in with some audio, and you can figure maybe you can get the radio to key someplace else, but you got to feed that hot audio signal in there somewhere. All right, the radio is sounding good. Oh, let's do a. Let me go to the S-meter. Let's do a. Where is the knob I need? That one. What are we doing? Oh, frequency check. Check a transmission. Over.
Okay. I'll throw kind of a dead one if you need that. It should be close to on.
All right, sorry, I have to get back in the right mode. Yeah, very close to on. I'm going to say, and it's so close it's hard to adjust when there's nothing. I don't have a lot of audio going on. So I'm going to say that you are maybe 50, 60 cycles low. It's very close. It's very close to being on. Well, it is on. I mean, you've got 700, I think. You've got 700. What am I seeing there? Oh, I know what I'm seeing. Cycles to full width. So you've got plenty left over. You're good.
Well, I like the leftovers. Let me see what it says here. Well, one free counter says 084.9. The other one says 084.8. Considering I had to tune the transmitter, so every channel is real close on the transmitter. Every single one, all 23. So to do that, this one has to be just a hair low, I think.
Probably, and I will say thanks to, I think it was Rob Goldenberg for the picture, our prior picture of the Mark II, and here's another one that I think is a Mark II, in the wood cabinet. Cool looking stuff. And that's courtesy of Michael Randolph, and courtesy of Harvey is the audio. Take another transmission, it might be ready. It might be ready to go fly away.
Yes, it looks like I'll be shipping this back out probably Monday or Tuesday. Oh, as far as the tubes being the same as the prior model, which would be the Golden Eagle, the answer is no. This one has one extra tube, which would be the 6BE6 converter tube for sideband. The Golden Eagle, which does not have sideband, does not need that tube. Also, there's a tube change. I think, and I'm not sure, but I think the Golden Eagle has two 12AT7s in the front end there, after the 6 DS4s. And this one, they have one 12AT7 and a 6 GH8. I don't know why they did that, because they went back to the two 12AT7s. I guess it was an experiment there. And I think all the rest are the same. This does have the OB2 rectifier tube in it. I didn't put diodes in because to boost it a little bit wouldn't be necessary in this radio, in the receiver. So I just left the OB2 in there. Anyway, I believe the Golden Eagle has that too. So, alrighty, back to you.
Very good. I'm surprised that we're still doing the OB2 tubes in there and not solid stating that. I know some of the guys that take the amateur rigs, and that's like the first thing you know is get rid of the rectifier tube and solid state it. But then there's some caveats about what happens to the transformer, and like you said, changing. I don't know if it changes voltages, but sometimes it's like, well, you have to be careful that you're not, gonna mess up the transformer with whatever you're doing. So I don't know if the Eagle is the same way. I don't know if there's an advantage it would run cooler. Obviously there's an advantage. That's one less tube to replace, but a modification that can be done. And I don't remember on Greg's book for S9 Radio if he mentions anything about that. Radio number 2, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark II, that will probably make an appearance sometime here in 2023 on the old radio night, and I'm sure Mr. JT will give you some duly credit on bringing the thing up. All right, sounding good. Take a transmission and light up your regulator.
Okay, I appreciate getting in early because it is way past late on the East Coast. The rectifier tube allowed the heaters to kind of, I think they call it a sag or something, to kind of ease in to warm it up, where with a solid state rectifier, the voltage hit the heaters kind of quick. And I think at that time they thought it would allow the tubes to last longer. But after a while, I guess they decided that wasn't necessary because the tube people said, we want to sell more tubes. Anyway, that's, I believe, one of the reasonings on that rectifier tube. Plus, at the very beginning, I guess they didn't have diodes, so there you go. All righty, turn it back to you.
All right, back to me in the studio again. Thanks to Michael Randolph for a very great picture of the Browning in the infamous cabinet that everyone wants, but nobody can get or can find. And Harvey on the second radio, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark II from, and I was kidding DD21. I was kidding JT earlier on ORN about he must have, a radio, 52 radios at least, so he can have a different radio every week, and he usually does. So we looking forward to seeing and hearing this one on ORN coming up. Thanks for bringing it by. Over. All right, take a little break here. You can head up to the mezzanine. The popcorn is still the same price. Thank you, Popcorn 913 for doing that. In fact, if you say the magic words, I don't know if it's don't forget to feed the fish, you may even get a discount on that popcorn. We will be back in a moment here on your old tube radio network with more glow-in-the-dark radios.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Number 7.
And we've got some requests to bring on the tubes. And thanks to our tube radio operators, that is what we will do. Mr. Ed, step up into the air chair. I know a lot of people are prepping for the Super Bowl coming up tomorrow. I'm not into the sport enough to speak intelligently. There's a lot of things I'm not into to speak intelligently about, but I know there are some teams playing, and it'll be on television. And I think I heard that some of the 30-second halftime spots, if you're in the right rotation, you know, in the world of TV, having your spot in the proper rotation in the break can cost you some money. So $6 or $7 million will do that for you for 60 seconds. Here, when you get 60 seconds or more, it doesn't cost you a thing, as Ed will prove. Hello, radio number 3.
And hello, Dennis and the OTR SWLs. Bringing you the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB with the Golden Eagle D104.
There's lots of gold in them thar hills, or at least on the radio desk of SWL number 7. I am flipping the Rolodex here, hopefully to the proper item, because we have a great radio that is gold, along with the microphonium. I think that's courtesy of Cliff, who we just heard moments ago. There it is. So we'll go to the radio when I do that, and we'll go to the radio, your radio, when I do that. Over.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, just got this thing working again, so luckily this element seems to work, and luckily I had the one in the collection. Now I have no more, so if this goes out, I'm out of luck.
Oh, well, you don't want to be out of luck. In fact, there were some people commenting on the TR70C. I know you've got a TR27E, but there are some 70Cs out there. But this is the big brother, or is it the older brother, or the younger brother of the radio that we just heard, the Mark II. This is a way that Browning figured out how to put everything all in 2 pieces. And it works quite well. With the rectifier tube or not.
There you go. As long as you have about 3 feet of space to put the radio, or of course you can always stack one on top of the other. I like to have them side by side. That way I can see the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, I like them better side by side, especially for the heat.
Yeah, they are convection cooling, but there are other parts in there, like the transformer and some other things, and I think Harvey said they smartly put those to the back, so they will get some air circulation were you to stack them and all of that. So, hello. Oh, Dallas saying hello from Tennessee. Says good to see everyone on the air, enjoying the radios. The one online with us now, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from, where was it, 1972 when it first came out. I'm not sure if it was the beginning of the year or the end of the year. Made it to 1976. And I bet it was such a good radio for them. I bet they would have kept going had they not, the FCC not told them, well, it's a 23-channel radio and you are not allowed to sell those. So fix it, will you? And they did with the Mark IV. Prices ranged probably in the low 600s to upper 700s by the end of 76 or 77, and they cost probably at least that much today. Over.
There you go. Luckily, I did not pay that much for mine, and got a great deal on the D104 Golden Eagle. In fact, it was a gift. I didn't pay anything for it.
Gifts are good, and we are excited that you are wanting to share yours with us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Radio 3, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, not a transceiver, but a transmitter and receiver combination. A very retro thing to do with CB radio, as in the early 60s and late 50s. Ham radios were doing the transceiver item, or the transmitter receiver items, and somewhere in the early to mid 60s, the transceivers came in, and the separate transmitter receiver combinations went away, all except for this radio right here. So classic stuff all the way around, and they knew what they were doing. Thanks, Ed.
And thanks, OTR.
You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. The Jingle Singers ready to join us. Thanks for those of you that might be listening in at oldtuberadio.net or watching the video for staying up late, wherever you are, or in the case of some of you, maybe you are just getting up and it's early. Perhaps you're watching the replay. This is the program for the 11th of February, 2023, the Old Tube Radio Network.
how do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all and
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
The Old Tube Radio Network standing by for radio number 4.
Number 7.
This is like the best day fishing. You throw out the line, and there you go. Hello, 7, over.
This time it was something from a little bit earlier. 1963, I believe. The Tram TR27E. It's big, it's green, and there you go.
All right, we'll give it a shot. Flipping the Rolodex from the Bravos to the Tangos, and looking for their last version, the TR27E. We'll start. What I'll do is I'll start with the brochure, because not only do we have a brochure of the radio, but we also have the radio on which you're talking. You sent us a nice little picture, the Tram TR27E. This is from CB Horizons magazine in October 1963, page 33. And yes, these manufacturers spent lots of money putting these full-page, half-page advertisements in the CB magazines. They were selling enough of them to work. And what I like about the Tram here, Winnisquam, New Hampshire, it gives you a service tip. None of these no-user serviceable parts inside, right? It's like, here's what you need to do. Over.
There you go. And now this one, the E model, had all 23 channels. Earlier models only had select channels in it. But Tram was really smart about it. There's just a little panel there on top of the radio. Take 2 screws off, take the little panel off, and all your crystals are right there.
Smart way to go. I think the Hamelin was like, there was a little door to get into the crystals. Some of them, the crystals were soldered or fixed to the rotating dial. So, yeah, good stuff. Probably learned it from other items of interest, that older radios. Tram service tip number 1. There will be a test at the end of class when tuning the 31.5 megacycle first conversion receive oscillator, coil L2. So obviously we all have our schematics out on our desktops. Tune for maximum DC voltage at pin 7 of the 6BK7 V2, then looking at the coil from the bottom of the set. It's nice that they tell you about that. Turn the slug counterclockwise. Yeah, do not turn it until it stops, but turn it counterclockwise to drop the grid, pin 7 voltage, 2 volts. So obviously not only do you need the schematics and your tweaker, and it sounds like the radio must be on at this point, but you need your voltage meter, your VOM, so you can see those 2 volt drop. This results in optimum oscillator stability. So I think you're very optimum here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
Well, I definitely hope so. Also have the Electro Voice 638 microphone attached.
All right, I'm trying to find. There we go. Just trying to find the radio, the EV638. Do I have that? I don't have that right away, but I'd like to show that. Very heavy-duty chrome microphonium used for the high-impedance tube radios, and a preference to, if you go to the Collins Collector Club forums, you will find that radio, or that microphonium referenced a lot.
There you go. I happened to get a pretty decent deal on it, and when trying it with this radio, I tried multiple microphones, and this one sounded the best, so there you go.
Sounds the best, and some might think it looks the best. I love the meter. Chrissy says, thank you, Ed, for the for the first green radio of the night. Perhaps we should, you can look through the green cellophane, but it doesn't quite do that. You've really got to have the green radio, and this one will do it. From 1963 Tram. And Mr. Ed, thanks.
And thank you.
And Hello, Joe. I'm behind on my paperwork here, so jump up in the air chair. Tell us what you got. While I was enjoying this last radio so much, I forgot to write it down on the list, so I don't want to get any demerit points here. So what have you got? You will be radio number 5, over.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean about enjoying that one. I like that when Ed was talking on the Pretty Green radio there. But Dennis, we're going to bring up another color here, the Pretty Blue radio, My Hustler Bass.
Okay, from blue to green is not a bad thing. I do have a special photo of that. I think I can patch it over to oldtuberadio.net, so I will try that as well. But first, let's put it up on the control board here, the Old Tube Radio Network. A radio that indeed you probably have to pull the cabinet off to get to the crystals, unless you are aware of what Ed was talking about. Sometimes they'll put a little door or panel somewhere with a screw that you can open up to get to the crystals. But I'm thinking you probably have to pull the case off of that one to change some crystals. Although we'll talk about an easy way that they gave you to change crystals. Back to you.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that. Yeah, we would have to do something like that. Only one crystal, I think that I could pull. That's right in front of the radio there. If I wanted to make a change, probably maybe listen to something different. But other than that, I'd have to go inside. You're right about that. And Dennis, there's only 8 crystals in this one, or 8 crystals, 4 crystals. I'm not sure. 8 channels, 7 tubes.
37.
37. You are in the green room. We'll catch you next. Yeah, 8 channels. If it was fully populated, you probably got 16 spaces. Or let me check the. Oops. Maybe we got a white screen on that. I got a problem here. Let me get the picture back and see, because you have what I believe to be a tunable receiver. And with the tunable receiver, that gives you the ability to get all channels on the receive. And then what you will do is pick, okay, now we got the radio back, is pick your 8 channels that you want. And let me get to the close-up here for those who are watching. The tuning knob, yeah, so there's your 23 channels that are not crystal controlled. You have 8 channel sockets inside the radio for your transmit channels, and as the FCC said, for class D11 meters radio service, you could not use a VFO on the transmitter. You could on the receiver, but you had to be crystal controlled. And then they give you the external crystal socket above the channel selector on the left side there to physically plug in a receive crystal. Yeah, because there's a switch that says tune and receive, so that you could have a hot switchable receive. So if you went to, say, number 4 on your transmit knob, you'd flip up and you knew what channel. And let's say that's your OTR channel. So channel 4 is at 11 transmit. And instead of trying to figure out in the tuning knob where channel 11 was, waiting for somebody to come on there and do that, you could just flip the black switch up to crystal with your channel 11 receive crystal, and you would be good to go. So, you know what I'll have to talk to Harvey. I may have some here. I've got some crystal. We might be able to find a channel 11 crystal that will plug in the front of that, and so when it's OTR time, all you have to do is, go to, what channel on your channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what channel number are you on right now?
I think I'm on 3. Let me put some light on this, Dennis. Yeah, I think I'm on channel 3. Yeah, right now for 11.
All right, so yeah, we should find you a 27085 if that's how they do it. Receive crystal, and so when it's OTR time, you go to number 3 and flip the crystal switch up, and it's good to go. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, well, we can talk more to Harvey about that. He can show me how to do that. Then we could, work it that way. A little more interesting.
Absolutely. Radio number 5 WRL World Radio Labs, producing a lot of amateur radio gear from Leo Meyerson, getting into the 11-meter portion before they sold off to Globe Electronics. So a very rare radio, a great color. If you ever get that blue 59 T-Bird, this will look good in it, Joe.
Oh boy, you're taking me back there. I got one of those stuck one time. I couldn't get it out. All of us had to put our jackets under the wheels, and we made a mess of the jackets. Yeah, that 59 T-Bird was pretty, and this would have gone with it. It would have been real nice. Okay, Dennis, thank you for letting me check this one in, and I think I can get another one ready.
All right. Well, we are here, so we'll have we got plenty of space on the tube radio list. So thanks for that. We're not gonna go to the Jingle Singers. We are gonna go directly to Radio 6. Hello, Chris.
And hello, Dennis.
You are sounding good. If it's intermission, we have time for your radio. I can already tell from my R-band meter what radio you are on.
We're on our band, on our radio. Hey, yeah, Dennis, no, our movie's over, so I get to come in here, and my sister-in-law, Wanda's sister, she just left to go back home, so now I'm here, live and on the air. I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC 11A 24-channel tuber that glows in the dark, with the original handheld stock microphone. No amplification whatsoever. We are loud and proud. Hello.
Yes, you are. And I had my R-band meter artificially boosted for some reason, so I had to go down, and people saw me turn around to the audio board to turn things down. And what I was doing, I was turning down the feed that goes to the internet. I don't know if you remember the days like you'd be watching a program, and then the commercial would come on, and it would be really loud, and go, "Whoa, that's what you were. You were like the loud commercial, but in a good way."
Whoa, yeah, that you know, now that's the first I've heard of it that way. So yeah, and you know, and they still do that, Dennis. They say they don't. Trust me, they still have those loud commercials, which they're supposed to outlaw those, but they're right back to it again. They don't quit. They get paid too much.
Yeah, well, you know, some stations Google the word dial norm, where some people got together and said, well, here is the and we're in fact, the meter I'm using. I will digress here just a minute. The meter I'm using that's on the screen right now is one of those things that helps you set the dial norm, that LKFS blue numbers minus 18.5. They say the station should have their dial norm set to your audio peaks at 18.5. They have all sorts of little processors and things that helps achieve that, whether the commercial is really loud or not so loud. But I don't do that here. That's why I show this, because it's a relative indication of the loudness. So I don't have any controls that will adjust your loudness. I have a lot of controls that will adjust my loudness. So that's why I like to use that meter. So when somebody comes on and is minus 17 and another comes on and minus 16, you can kind of gauge the quote-unquote loudness. But yours was way up at at 11. It should be down to 14 or so. So I had to turn you down a little bit, but you're sounding good. Do not change what you do. Over.
I will try not to hurt that break. But yeah, you know, one of my best parts that this is one thing I love about when I am DXing on my other radio. And I give my name and where I'm at here in Fresno. And people say, do you ever listen to OTR? I go, yes, I do. Quite often, every week. Oh, well, you ever heard that one out there with the general radio phone, or with the general radio telephone? I go, yes, I do. And he said, what? And then they go, and what is your name? I said, my name is Chris. He said, oh my God, you're him. And it is a good feeling. I have to admit that when they say you have got one of the best radios out there that he thinks of. But I'm sure there's other people who think other radios are even better. So, you know, I get a kick out of it when I get the feedback.
You got that right. So it's always good. We always enjoy listeners, those of like you, Chris, that like I said, take time out of family stuff to run into the with the blessings of the X-Wild, to run into the air chair and say hello to radio, and you have been doing it pretty much from when we started long ago, from when both of us were just like old guys instead of really old guys. Over.
Yes, that is true. What is this, 36 years ago now or something like that? Almost 37?
Yeah, it's been a long time. So a good item of interest. But that just proves that we've got a great community and great listeners and great radios. Big Rich 6520 saying hello to Old Tube Radio. Big Rich probably away from the recording studio to join us here on a Saturday evening or maybe a early Sunday morning where he is at. I'm not sure. We're on the Super MC11A from General Radio Telephone out of beautiful downtown Burbank. Chris at his radio desk taking a transmission. Back to you. Over.
Okay, and we're not trying to change something like that, but I still remember the day that you and I, Jim, and Kevin and everybody, we used to go bowling after we do stuff on Friday nights back years ago. Sometimes like 40 years ago, we'd go bowling at night at Cedar Lanes until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, have breakfast, and all go home and crash.
Yeah, and Cedar Lanes is no longer there anymore, and I do not believe there's a bowling alley in town that stays opened past midnight anymore. So, but Old Tube Radio Network, we're still open on Saturdays, and we will be around for a long time. Radio number 6, Chris at the microphone of the Super MC11A. What is that, 9 tubes? I can tell you. 9 tubes. The ECL L800, a very unusual tube, but a good one for the modulator output. And of course, I still think you've got a Primo 12AX7 in there for that audio. Thanks for bringing it by.
And thank you for being there, Dennis. I'm going to get out of here. I've got 2 more warmed up over here, so I'll let the other one go, and then I'm going to get back in there and see what I can do. All right, Dennis, thank you, and I will return, trust me.
All right, you can trust us here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's take a jaunt over to the other studio where the Jingle Singers are going to say, who was it that said that? Was it Pat Paulson? The Jingle Singers are going to say this about that.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Wonderful Fresno, California cornbread saying, you 300 bowler. Well, I will fess up. I am still waiting. I am still waiting for that magical 12 strikes in a row in the same game. Because if you get 12 strikes in a row, we're talking about bowling here, and in between 2 games, it will not be a 300. The best I could do, and I have proof, I have a little pin from the, USBC, or actually it was the SBC, I guess, back then. It wasn't the USBC for my 290 game, meaning that you got 11 in a row with a spare, or you got 11 in a row with 9. I got one of those. So anyway, enough talk about bowling. We are going to talk about radios, and we're looking for radio number 7.
Me?
Oh, that would be you. And is there another radio?
Yeah, I'll be after Harvey. 60.
Good evening.
All right. So we'll mark Radio 7 as Harvey, and he's stepping up into the air chair. Radio number 8 will be 60 in the green room, enjoying all things. Or if you can't make it to the green room, head up to the mezzanine, the balcony. There is popcorn. Tell them that the OTR Net Control sent you, and I bet they will treat you right. And the One Element joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network, waiting for radio number 7. I'm not sure what you've got, Harvey, but go ahead.
Okay. Got the Golden Beagle, and I got to do this quick because I have somebody at the front door. So, anyway, the R68T68 custom microphone, Golden Beagle, and I thought I heard Sean out there, possibly in Sanger, after, after me and after Joe, I guess. Anyway, thought I heard shot. Okay, yep, someone's at the front door. Gotta go. Bye.
All right. Come back, won't you? Because we have a question specific to Browning. So make a note to come back. I've got you marked in. Goodbye, Harvey. I got you marked in as a Radio 7 on the R68, T68. And I will listen. Sometimes I get excited about the tube radios and I quick key and I can miss an important contact. So, Joe, before you key down for radio number 8, let me see if Sean is out there. Over.
7-2.
Hello, Sangertown. Over. All right. And my noise level is pretty quiet, so I should hear Sean if he's out there. And let's see. Chris, did you also want to get on the list?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you will be Radio 9, but right now it's Radio 8. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Dennis. Doggone it, I was hoping Harvey would hang around a little bit so he could hear this radio here. Dennis, this is my Johnson messenger, the TOO, blackface. And I know there's always been a question about having to wait a second or two before I could start talking on it. And I thought maybe Harvey could hear that because this will be one he'll be working on. John, I'd like to check this one in, Dennis.
Yes, easy to say and easy to do, as that's what is happening now as we mark you in for radio number 8 from E.F. Johnson Company, Edgar F. Johnson, their messenger to the third in the line of at least the 11-meter messengers. There was an amateur messenger for E.F. Johnson. Come back and take another transmission. I think it's warmed up enough so when you key up, or is that key down, that you will have 100% audio. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was hoping that that would be the case, but it has been on a while already. Dennis, 10 tubes, 10 channels, and pretty nice looking little radio, although not much on the front as far as a meter goes or anything like that. You have to kind of go by the sound more likely, like you're coming in strong. So I figure things are okay. Not fancy. It's got a little letter indicator, and of course the channel, both the letter and the channel selector is small. You could hardly get a number 2 wooden pencil through the glass, and of course a little thing in the background there behind the screen there that you know, a little monitor light that you're on the air.
Yeah, you got to know you're on the air. You can key the microphonium, but it's always nice to have something else. And since you don't have the proverbial wiggle meter on that radio, you got to have something that will let you know. And the Johnson radios, even the amateur radio Johnsons, are beautiful radios. They're designed well, but they're not super fancy. They give you the controls you need, the plate and the load, and some nice meters, but there wasn't much, and I don't know if they just thought on 11 meters that it was easier to keep them simple, but boy, Johnson knows the insides, the interiors, so that's why the Messenger, the Viking, the Messenger 223 behind me here, was always a favorite because the transmitters and the receivers, especially the transmitters, were always done well. A little 25 words or less, the company called E.F. Johnson, founded in 1923 by Edgar F. E.F. Got it? Edgar F. Johnson and his wife Ethel. The company began as a mail order business, selling radio transmitting parts to amateurs and early radio broadcasters from space shared with a woodworking shop located in downtown Waseca. So isn't that cool? Waseca, Minnesota. In the early days of radio, when it was a thing to do, a mail order business. And I just thought of this, 1923, on the October 10th, that's when the E.F. Johnson Company was established. So we will be celebrating, I'll have to remember, if somebody help me remember, in October, we've got to have E.F. Johnson night. It'll be their 100th year in business. Good stuff. So mark that, Joe. Your company will be requested I don't know. I haven't seen the calendar yet to see what's our closest October 10th date, but keep that one ready for our 100th anniversary Johnson coming up in October. I'm talking too much. Back to you for a transmission on the radio, and then we'll head out to radio number 9. But always enjoy that. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. No, I appreciated that. I sure did. Yeah, we'll be up and ready to go there with a couple of Johnsons at you there for that date. And interesting about Waseca being a part of this whole system here. Okay, I'll get out of here and let Chris get in there. I know he's anxious. We'll let old Chris go to it.
All right. Oh, and I found that I had another photo of the Cobras that I forgot about in one of the archives here. So yeah, we'll talk more about the Johnson radios. Radio number 9 stepping up into the air chair, and I've got a reservation for the West Side guy as Radio 10. So thank you, Joe, and hello, Chris.
And hello, Dennis, once again. I would like to check in my I'm too up close to the microphone, sorry about that. My G PowerMate, the Gem Marine Products. This is a 23-channel tuber that glows in the dark, and we are running this here with the amplified D104 Lollipop. It is the, what is this, the TUG stand, 8 stand. That's what it's on right there, the microphone. So we are running out of amplified one. Over.
All right, back to some blue radios. Radio 9 Gem Marine PowerMate from the G PowerMate. Gem Marine, makers of some marine radios, obviously, with a name like that. And if you notice, and I'll get in a close-up here for those who don't have the radio in front of them, the G on the G PowerMate has that. And I'm sure there's an official name, but I'm not a captain of a ship. But it looks like a ship's wheel with the spokes on the wheel on the G. Did you note that?
Yes, it is there.
All right. Do you wear a hat, a captain's hat, when you sit down at the transmitter?
Well, I do wear my glasses.
Okay. Or you might need a first mate. Maybe you need a first mate when you run that radio.
She's sitting in there in the other chair.
Okay. Well, you do have it. And hopefully you don't have somebody like Gilligan.
Right. She's still in there in the living room.
All right. We won't say any more about that. Radio number 9, I got to get your name on the list here. The Gem Marine Products G PowerMate. Let me get back to the full screen picture. We'll put an S meter up there in your next transmission. So if you do watch the video, you'll be able to give yourself a radio check. And what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to tell you that is one of the Panasonic chassis. I guess the second generation Panasonic, as noted by 23 Skidoo. So is it a T-Berry? Is it a Robin T123B? Is it a Starfire? It's all of those under the guise of the G PowerMate. It's sounding good. We'll put up the S meter and take a transmission.
Okay, yeah, well, it's working. I'm bringing up my meter up on top. It's showing that I'm keying. Yeah, it's probably, well, I'm showing 4. Let me see, is that 4? No, it's about a 3. Swinging to about a 4, I guess that's what it is. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it is. 3 swinging to about a 6, I guess.
Okay, and I noticed my receive is a little bit low tonight, because you're normally about an S9, so I don't know if I've got some receiver settings different. That's why my noise level is low. But you are still where you need to be on the sound, and as always, that radio sounds quite good. G PowerMate from Gem Marine Products. Thanks for bringing it by. Over.
And I do thank you for being there. And after this year, I've got one more to go, and that'll be it for me tonight. So you can't clock out until I check that in. I'm clear, going to the other one.
Okay, and I know we are going over time and probably losing some of the listeners, but that's okay. We do have the program. The net is recorded. So what can I say? And GSW, yeah, don't forget the Old Spice. You need to be, Christian, you need to be wearing your captain's hat or whatever one would wear, and your Old Spice. But I know you wear the Old Spice all the time. That is, do they even have that anymore? That's like old stuff, but that's what old guys wear. Let's see, where am I? Harvey, hello radio.
And yes, they do still sell Old Spice. I still use it once in a while.
All right, good. At least dab on a little bit when you key that radio up. Thanks. Hello, Harvey. Over.
37.
A little dab will do you.
Well, that's Brill Cream, but you should be wearing that as well when you key down, or is it key up?
I don't know. Okay, questions?
There was a question earlier. It scrolled off the screen, but I think it involved Browning, and it talked about... Yeah, I wish I had I might have a Gilligan's hat. A wire microphone, 2-pin, 3-pin, 4-pin. Most of the Brownings, were they 2-pin, but they went 4-pin? I don't know. I think that was the gist of the question. Over.
2-pin or wired directly in to the back, as with the where is it here? The S9 was originally wired in the back. You want to hear feedback? I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it. Okay. It's a 2-pin. When you look at the front on the transmitter, the lower left is the hot transmit, lower right's mic, and they use the shield soldered to the spring in the mic plug as the ground.
Yeah, and you got to be careful because there is high voltage on that. How do I know that? Because I use my J38 key as a push-to-talk on most all my radios. So you're taking whatever that relay circuit is, right, in the ground, and pushing together on the code key, and of course you've got all these brass parts showing. So I remember one day a long time ago when I had a Browning hooked up here, and I had the J38 key wired into a little RCA plug going into exactly what you described. And I think I noticed a little spark as I'm doing the slide lever. And so if my finger were to touch one side of the slide lever and to where it was sliding, there was a nasty little jolt.
Yeah. Around 90 volts, I think. Not that much. The Mark IVs had a terrible 4-pin plug. And you had a ground pin, mic pin, transmit pin, and the 4th pin was to bring voltage to the 776 mic for the amplifier inside.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. I think my Regency Imperial has got the same thing where you've got some high voltage going on. So you've got to be careful, especially when you bring those little wires out and you don't insulate them and put them on your code key or wherever you put them. So you have to be careful. I am delaying the fact that you are Radio 10. We will have another radio coming in, and we will be doing counting and mounting. I know you were on a Browning, but I'm not sure what style or what flavor. Over.
You hear the short ping. I'm back on the Mark II, the JT Special, the Pang radio, y'all, that I thought I'd key up again. Just in case he's awake still. I doubt it. I think he went to bed after I first checked this in. I think he wasn't feeling too well. Anyway, yeah, just one more time with this one. unamplified D104, the same microphone I use on the Beagle radio. And that should do it. I'm going to box her up tomorrow or Monday and send it back.
37.
What did Jim used to say? Number one, put it in the sack and take it back to Radio Shack, although Radio Shack never had those. Always sounding good. All right, so I won't check it in because I believe we have already checked in, and I don't want to stack the deck unnecessarily. Thank you, Harvey. And before we count an amount for the evening, we will go to our real Radio 10, which is, I do believe I heard Chris in there. Over.
Yes, you did. I do believe it was me. Over.
It was you. Over. All
right, over and over, and I'm going to do it one more time, over and over. SSWL 37, I would like to check in my Chris 23 CB transceiver. This 23 channel tube, it glows in the dark, and also this is running the original handheld stock microphone. Over.
All right, Chris 20. I'm looking at the Rolodex here. I have many from which to choose, but I will be going to the Chris 23 Plus. But they had the Chris Big Boomer, Chris Grand Mobile, Chris Mach 3+3, Chris Mach 3B. That must have been maybe amplifiers. Chris XL 23, Chris XL 40, and the one that you are on that we will be seeing on the full page right here, the Chris 23 Plus. Also another Panasonic chassis second generation clone. And you've got a modulation light. Make it blink red. Over.
It's blinking right now. It keeps blinking at me. I don't know if it's a red light special or what, but it's not trash can special, but it's special anyway. Over.
It is special. I wish that Peter Lorre was still alive, because I know our crew could go out and ask him to do perhaps a little special jingle for the or a little bit for the Old Tube Radio Network about, hey, the glowing, hey, the mod light was blinking and winking.
All right, you sound just like him. Over.
I probably sound just like him the way he would be doing it today. Radio 10, Chris 23 Plus. Oops. I threw my pen down and took my transmitter off the air by undoing the item. 23 channels, 5 watts, plate modulation, 11 tubes. What's the output tube? 6 BQ5, 12 AX7 in the modulator tube, just like your general radio telephone. This will run 12 volt DC. It's probably got a couple of transistors in there to do that. Probably you definitely have to have a different power cord to do that, and you have to have the right power cord, or it does it not good. It does it bad. It can wreck the radio, but I know you don't run mobile with that. And I was looking, it says operator's manual. So I think we have an operator's manual if you go to oldtuberadio.com. What do you think?
Hey, well, again, speaking of manuals, Joe was asking me a question here the other day on getting, a book on his radio, on one of the radios. Now, he was asking me, which is the best? Get the regular copy of the book for that, for the radio itself, one of those copies, or should he get the Sam's PhotoFax? Which do you say?
Well, it's always cool to have the paper that came in the box. So that's going to be an operator's manual. It might include a schematic, but not always. But just, for the fact of, it's like having the owner's manual that you can put on the front seat when you're showing off your Buick, the 68 Skylark. So it's nice to have that, but most people know how to do the operation, but it's nice to know when you think, what's that? And it'll tell you in the book. The schematic is definitely in the Sam's PhotoFax. So I always tried to get, when I had my tube radios and I got my Regency Imperial, or any of my radios, I always tried to get, and it was easy to do 40 years ago, the Sam's PhotoFax that included my radio, because they include 6 or 7 radios in the book. And then you do have the schematic and maybe some hints about, tuning up. So I would say it would be cool to have the one Sam's PhotoFax that includes your radio. And we could find that out. I think there is an index. We could say, this is the one you'll be looking for. You're looking for Sam's. If you got a Mark II, you want PhotoFax X. If you got the Johnson, you want PhotoFax X. So, tell you which ones to look for in your garage sale or on eBay. But it's also cool to have the stuff that came out of the box, the owner's manual. So to answer your question, it depends what he wants to do. I would recommend that you just have the Sam's PhotoFax, because it's a good thing. If you ever wanted to sell the radio or gift it to somebody, it goes with the radio in case they want to try something. And the coolness is, it's always nice to have the owner's manual, because then it looks like you bought it out of the box, even if you didn't.
Very good. Well, that's what Dennis wanted to know. I mean, Dennis. Yeah, Dennis, you wanted to know that, didn't you? Joe wanted to know that. Anyway, thank you. I will get out of here. Let somebody else check in there, but I know there's 11 out there. I even heard a beep real quick, so we're out, and I'm going to go to the other radio to listen, and thank you very much, Dennis.
All right. Thank you. I'm doing some paperwork here. I think we have one more radio, so the ping-later, you will be radios 11. Step up in the air chair. The jingle singers who are, they are slowly dropping off, so it's been a long day for everybody here, but they will do this before we sign off, as they often do.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Stay with us and be as modern as you can. Hello, Harvey.
The bagel. Whoops. Turned up too high. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, there's a golden bagel. Okay. R68T68. As far as Sam's and the owner's manuals, if they had a schematic, most of the time the schematic did not list voltages, and it was also very small and hard to read, magnifying glass time. Sometimes, if they did have voltages, there was in a voltage chart in the manual, so you'd have to go back and forth. I got used to the Sam's, but some Sam's aren't quite correct, so you got to kind of watch out. But anyway, so I've got...
And do I still have audio? Do I still have audio? Yes. Let me turn that down. All right. I still have audio. I may be up. I don't know if it started a new stream, but I got the blue screen of death. That happens. That some driver crash with OBS, which is a program I'm using. So now I've got the computer rebooted. And yeah, maybe I should blame it on the weather balloon. I don't know. So in theory, I should be able to end the stream. And I think it happened just right so that we heard Harvey's explanation. And John, you were right. Harvey did have to finish his explanation. But we have signed off here locally on the air. It took me a while to reboot, and then the computer didn't come back up. So if I'm even talking, if I'm even on the air to anybody, I think I'm still there. So that's good. I see myself on the item of interest. Let's see, the audio stream is off. The tube went out. My audio is back. And so, okay, yeah. I will do the end stream. Let me check the chat. Let me check the chat window here to see if that's working. Also, see, I run two computers. One computer, which is the one that crashed, is a big Dell desktop that's now about 10 years old. And it has the video. It has what I call the Rolodex for the pictures. I guess I'm off microphone here. For all the radios. Gosh, it has, in fact, I don't even have this Windows open. It has a database for Facebook. It has some audio playback, and it has some other things that I use for references. And then the other laptop, which is working quite fine and is even older than the other one, has the Echolink, another audio confirmation screen, and something else. And they all run into the audio board here. Also, the main computer has the live stream audio. It has my audio. It has a lot of stuff on it. But I think it's the video that's causing it to crash. And yeah, Captain Robert, I am back on, so everything is good. We have signed off on the net. And that's what happens, because all this stuff just goes into hibernation mode and waits for you to come back to turn it on and or off. So it takes me a while to, sometimes the computer will boot up automatically, but it didn't this time, so I had to turn it off and turn it back on, and then open the necessary pages, I hope, to get me back on so that I can turn it off. I also am missing a whole bunch of Chrome windows, which I'm going to restore now. It's going to take a while, and that's the database, but we shouldn't need that one. And when I do that,
sure,
a lot
Andy,
of stuff just starts happening, like this guy. I think we'll have Vince Scully talking to us. I got to put on the headphones to find out what's happening here.
Orange juice, 6 small white onions,
find out what's going on.
green peppers, garlic powder, a package of American cheese, pickles, kosher that is.
Yeah, that's Vince Scully.
Plates, maple syrup,
reading a grocery list that whenever I reboot my computer.
6 bars of soap, hot dogs, quarter pound of chopped meat, steak, lamb chops, package of spaghetti, 3 apples, bologna, cottage cheese, a pound of butter, 2 ears of corn, beer, ketchup, peanut butter, soy sauce, and a half a pound of coffee.
Whenever I reboot my computer, Vin Scully reads a shopping list as only Vin Scully can read it. He's a Dodgers baseball announcer for the West Coast guys. All right, so I think that's it. We are back, and everybody went home. It's just me. They turned off the lights, left me here in the air chair, so I'll get the leftovers in the Old Tube Radio Network green room. As I mentioned over the air, but this wasn't on, I've got a super duper, does anybody say that anymore? I got a super duper busy schedule coming up the next 3 weeks, which could put me in jeopardy of being in the air chair on one of those Saturdays, because I would have to be somewhere else. We will see. Right now, I think I'm going to be here next Saturday and the next Saturday, but I don't know. Sometimes what I do is I'll turn on the audio stream, but something will be going on. Usually somebody will take over, but the video stuff probably won't happen if I'm not around. All right, good night, everybody, from... I'm looking to see what came up here. Is OBS still here? He's talking to himself again. Yeah. Oh, see, I've got to set up. There is so much setup on the video side. I have to program, see the meter's not working and the OR band's not working, because all that stuff has to be preset. So that's why I have to get in the air chair about 2 hours earlier to get all this stuff to work. So you're stuck with me. What else can I give you? Rigs only, full screen. Can I give you a rig? See, I have to bring, oh, you know what? And it dumps the Old Tube Radio database. Oh, and I have to turn the Nixies on. Yeah, all right. Let me find a radio. I do have to put a radio up. What radio do we want to put up? How about something we haven't had in a while? How about one of the Hammerlands? And we'll go with the 105, the CB212. Is that one of Cliff's pictures? Yeah, we'll go with the 212 base. There it is. And we'll put that full screen, and that's also up on Old Tube Radio. You know what? That one doesn't look good. That one doesn't expand well. How about the ICO? How about the ICO 762K? I mean, this one right here. That one's better with the funky microphone. All right, there you go. And yes, Captain Robert, thank you. Always reminding me to give the Bozo Hawk. And Radio Brian, good night, Victoria. We had a basic computer crash. I have some video issue, driver issue with the OBS, and it crashes everything. And on this computer, there's many, many things besides the video that need to happen. So I just brought it up. I just got it to reboot so that I can get rid of my freeze frame picture, which I did, and press the end stream button so that people don't say, hey, you're just sitting there. And it says it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be still showing. It should be showing the radio. And if I go back to control, see, all the lights are on. And that's on there. See, the meter goes away. Okay. And the honk is going on. All right, I'm going to hit the end stream and put this video out of its misery. See, I don't know, on the YouTube replay, it's going to cut to that part. It'll look seamless. It's going to cut to whatever we were doing, and then the basic Dennis is going to be sitting here with no lights turned on and a strange white balance and cables hanging around and just kind of talking to himself saying, oh, woe is me. Good night, everybody. We will catch you next week. Oh, we hope, in the old tube radio network. And maybe I will reset that driver if I know what to do. Hey, John, thanks. It's not easy as just radio, but that's, the OTR will always go on. The computers can crash, but the radio's still here, and everything else goes on. You just have to have a really, really, really big antenna to hear Central California. Good night from downtown Fresno. Yeah, I don't even know. Thanks, Brian. The Wheatstone GUIs are all on this computer, so when they go off, I think they're okay. But the board isn't affected. I see the wiggle meters doing their thing. So, and the new pop filter is on. There you go on display. So it's like the size of a piece of toast, and it goes over the world's tiniest condenser element. So there's like room for 23 more microphones, 23 more for microphonemes behind the pop screen. And because it's a condenser microphone, yeah, it does a little bit. It's not great, but it was way better than the thing I had, which was probably a little scratchy 3M Brillo pad and a bread tie. So this is a lot more professional. Yeah, this is the AKG, and with the super cardioid head. I think I have a shotgun head for this, running on phantom power, supplied by none other than. Let me get rid of that picture. This is like sort of a tour behind the scenes. Supplied by none other than the Wheatstone M1, where you can see. Let's see. This would be audio input. Hello, radio. That would be the expander. So when the basic Dennis ceases to mumble, we have downward expansion. And then I have just a light bit of compression, almost like limiting. So if I'm talking in a normal voice, it's not there. But if I raise my voice, hello, radio, you notice the compressor comes on quite a bit. Why do I have that? Because I need to pre-compress a little bit before we go into the 532, because I found out that actually helps. The 532's got tons of magical things going on here. But if you don't make it work overtime, if you pre-compress a little bit going in, then all this little magic still happens, but it doesn't have to stop the good stuff and say, whoa, what are you doing? And put on the brakes. So that's why the little pre-compressor, which isn't on all the time. If I'm talking in a normal voice, you don't need to, that fixes it. But if you get a little bit louder, then this one takes over. So that's for that reason. So that one still does its magic. A little bit of audio stuff here. What else? What else is in line? The goes into that, goes up to that, and that's in AES. That's all digital because we get less latency. And it comes out. Where does it go? It goes into the Dominator, which is the expanded high frequency, low frequency. You can probably hear that. That's the 666-666. Probably have to have headphones on for that. Low frequency, hello, radio, boom, 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 boom. Hear it distort? That's distorting the 204. That's why I have to turn it all the way down. That's awful. goes into the compeller. Compeller is a really great for AM. Great compressor. I can take it out of line, and I'll probably get a little bit later. Yeah, I'm looking at the peaks. See, I got peaks hotter, and put it in line, and it controls the peaks. And I've got some heavy-duty compression. I do not run it like this on sideband. But for AM, on a rice box radio, really nice. Lets you get your audio nice and loud, but slams it a bit so it doesn't get into distortion. Goes out of that into compeller, goes out to the 204, which I believe I'm going to take out of line because there's something wrong with it. Goes to the final equalizer. This is my poor man's Pultec. I can take it out of line. Probably just gets louder difference, but I have a little bit of flavor, which is basically more for sideband. Up to the Lexicon, which I don't think you can see. You can't see that up there. The PCM70 for digital, and I don't know if it actually sends out. Let me try something here. Yeah, okay. Hello? It actually does send it out. I'm on a wet, dry mode, and I forgot to turn it down. Normally I turn it down because of how it works on the internet, but I left it up. So then it goes out to the audio board, and then it's distributed. The distribution, the cheap Behringer German technology by way of China, for a little bit more of that poor man's Pultec EQ, and then we get distributed to the live stream feed, the radio feed, and then we have the inputs from the Echolink, the inputs from the 2-meter radio, the inputs from the receiver, the inputs from the jingle singers, and then the inputs from my microphonium and the different ports, whether it's an AM or sideband. And then I loop it through because I have a separate audio feed that goes out, so I can control the levels for this microphone to the transmitter separately and to the stream separately. How do I know this? Because I learned the hard way that you cannot run everything off of one slider. It don't work. So there it is. And I guess I'm still on. I don't know. It's like the old TV guy. It's like, just kind of talking to himself as he realizes that time has passed him by, and he's no longer the big guy, and he's just like mumbling on. What was the Network? Yeah, remember Network when it was, and I can't think of the guy. He died right after they did the movie, and he just goes off. No, he's mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. That's what I feel like. The J38 key is here. What else? That's it. All right. And I have a very early call, so I'm going to go away. And I guess this is going to be recorded, and it'll be up on YouTube. Maybe I'll cut it out. Maybe I'll take this part out. Like the CB days of 1990s. Thanks. What else? Oh, is the receiver still up? I have a receiver thing, so if I bring it up, yeah, see, it's still there. But I'm on a separate antenna, so if I was to go to 40 meters, I have to switch antennas. I have to get the tuner out of 11-meter mode. And why? Oh. Yeah, see, that is really low. I have to get the RF gain out. Oh. No, okay. See, I've got an antenna issue here. I might be able to hear 75 if it's loud.
This is the Maristel frequency.
Oh, the Echolink is still up. Oh, it's LW. Yeah. There's some guys throwing carriers on 3840. I'm surprised they're not playing music. There's the guys on 3900. Let me take a quick Echolink check here. All right. Anyway, I was the computer crashed because of the OBS driver thing at the end, and I brought it up, and I'm mumbling with some after hours system here. So, and I forgot the Echolink was still up because this computer doesn't crash. Hello, KB6GFD. There's 75 meters. And I can't give you the Orman meter or the REA because I have to reset all those. All right. Going away, leaving, as they say on 40 meters, leaving the air forever. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. And let's see, 72 plus 1.
That's quite a long lag on my video for the Inklink.
Yeah, I had that crash, so I have no idea. When it brought up the stream again, it looked like it was a really super lag, and I don't know. See, it's showing... See, something is totally wrong. It's showing it's connected for 5 hours, so something was wrong. I bet that's why it's crashed. It came up wrong to begin with, because it's showing 5 hours, and I'll guarantee it hasn't been on 5 hours, because that's... When it came up, it got its little brain. It's got its little zeros and ones mixed up. Okay, I'm hitting the end stream. Good night, everybody, from your Old Tube Radio Network.